Hey, good people, how you doing? David Taub here. Hope all is going well, and I hope your guitar and musical journeys are going famously. And today I have a lesson for you on a simple blues rhythm. I'm going to break down what a 1-4-5 12-bar minor key blues is all about. A little different. We're going to do it in 6/8 time. The 1-4-5 is basically the meat and potatoes of the blues. And in this instance, we're doing a 12-bar 1-4-5, and all 12 bar means is the amount of measures we're playing all the chords before the progression repeats. In this instance, it's 12 times, then it repeats. 12 times again, repeats. And that's the most common form of these blues is 12 bar. There's also 8 bar, 16 bar. So the key is D minor. This is minor key blues as opposed to, it could be a major key blues. The 1-4-5, basically all that means is we're taking the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord in the key of D minor. So basically all music theory relates back to the major scale. The major scale is the elemental constant that everything is compared to, right? So if you look at, we'll be in the key of D. The key of D, those notes, the major scale, D major scale is a 7-note scale. In the key of D, the notes are D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. Right? So there's 7 notes in the major scale, and those 7 notes represent a chord, right? But in this instance, let's just look real simple, the 7 notes. So we want to play, and I'll write everything out for you on the screen. So we want to play the 1, the 4, and the 5 in the key of D. So the 1 is obviously D, the 4 is the G, and the 5 is the A. Right? So our chords for this are going to be some type of D chord, G chord, and A chord. There's our 1, our 4, and our 5. And we're going to, whatever progression we do, we're going to do it 12 times and repeat it, and that gives us our 12 bar. And I'll explain how many times on each chord because there's a pattern involved, right? Now, we're in minor key. So we're going to use minor chords for this. So the chords I'm going to use are, the 1 chord is going to be a D minor 7th. I'll show you close-ups of the chords too. The 4 chord is going to be a G minor 7. And the 5 chord is going to be an A minor 7. And the turnaround chord, that's usually bar 11, like the last bar before we repeat, kind of turns it back around to the 1 chord again, and it starts over again. In this instance, we're going to use a turnaround chord. You don't have to use a turnaround chord, but in blues, more often than not, it's there. We're going to use an A7 sharp 9. And if you want to get this exact jam track so you can practice, play along with your rhythms, try different rhythms, practice your soloing too, I'll put a link in the YouTube description box below to my mini jam track vault where you get like 15 or 16 jam tracks, including the one I use in this lesson. But the kicker, you get a written lesson that pairs with each track. And that's huge because in the written lesson I go over what the chords are for each track, what you can play over them lead guitar-wise and improvisation-wise, giving you suggestions and soloing strategies. I diagram out all the scales. And, it's a great template to use in your lead and rhythm guitar journeys. It's a great practice tool, and I'll put a link to that below, so check that out. When you're talking about minor chord blues and 1-4-5 or blues progressions where there's minor chords are usually denoted in tablature music with small case I's, right? I'll write it out here. So you see the 1, the 4, and the 5, small I's, small V's, small, right? That means minor. If these were written in capitals, capital V's, capital I's, like this, then that would denote major. So you could just look at it and know if it's a major or a minor chord by looking at the representation with the capitals or the lowercase letters. So next, the 12-bar pattern, which is the most common. Here it is. Basically, you stay on the 1 chord, in this instance, a D minor 7, for 4 bars, right? That's 4 times through. And I'm going to put the jam track on in a second. So it's 4 times on the 1 chord. Then you go to the 4 chord for 2 bars. In this instance, we'll go to the G minor 7. And then back to the 1 chord for 2. So that's 4 and 2 is 6 and 2 more is 8. That's 8 so far. Then you go up to the 5 chord for 1 bar, which would be 9. Down to the 4 chord, 1 bar 10. Back to the 1 chord. You could do it for 2 and that would be 12, but in many instances you'll do it for 1, which is 11. And then you go to the turnaround for 1. And that would make it 12. And then it repeats again. So that's the basic pattern which you want to commit to memory. Subscribe to the channel. It really helps us to keep the content coming, right? So we so appreciate your support. Also, you know, like the video, give it a thumbs up if you like it, share it with your friends. The timing, and this is where it's a little different. This is in 6/8 time. Okay, and the way you would count that out would be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a little different feel than 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 3. That's in 4/4. And some blues songs have that, like "Still Got the Blues" by Gary Moore. If you put that on and count it, you'll feel that 6. Again, that's an off timing. It's not in standard 4/4. I'm going to put the jam track on now, and let's apply what we've just learned in a musical example. And let me talk you through this track. Now, as soon as I click it on, you're going to hear the hi-hat, and if you notice, there'll be 6 clicks before the track comes in. 1 chord, 4, 5, 6. 1 measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 2 measures. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3 measures. 2, 3, 4 measures. Now we go to the 4 chord, right? It's a G minor 7. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Back to the 1 chord. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 measure. 2 measures. Now we're going to go up to the 5 chord. 5 chord. 4, 5, 6. 4 chord. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 chord. Bar 11. And here comes a turnaround. A7 sharp 9, 12, back to the beginning. Now, listen to where the guitar, what beat the guitar is accenting when it's stabbing in the chord. It's doing it on the 4 of 6, right? Let's see if you can hear it. Here's a change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So obviously the keyboard's playing the chords, right? But the guitar is stabbing in, accenting beat. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when it changes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the G minor 7. Now there's a lot of different ways that you can do these stabs on different accents. You kind of have to figure out, okay, what instruments are playing, what's the arrangement of the song, do I want to play just stabbing in, or do I want to, you know, scratch out a rhythm? How open do you want it to be? Obviously there's keyboards and there's bass, and this is made as a jam track, so there's going to be a guitar solo, so you want to leave it pretty open so you could weave a solo in, right? If you don't have keyboards and you want to lay a track down like this, you might be doing like, you might be doing a different kind of rhythm where you're playing a little bit more, right? And then when you change, right? Or you could be doing like you could do a little bit more percussive kind of thing. Just a couple of rhythm technique things real quick. When I'm doing those stabs, notice I'm not letting the chord ring. So all I'm doing is I'm loosening pressure. I'm hitting the chord and then quickly loosening pressure. So it kills the chord. You hear a little bit of the reverb ringing out, but basically the chord does not. You could do also where you just kind of keep the right hand going in a rhythm. And then you just kind of come on and off pressure. Like squeeze on to play the chord, off to get the chuck. All depending on, you know, what kind of mood you want to create and how much you want to play. And you can do that in each chord. You can mix it up. There's so much that you can do. So practice those things. Don't forget to get that jam track. Check out my mini jam track vault. It's a great practice tool because you get, you know, a written coinciding lesson for each track where I'm explaining what to try over what works and why. Remember, subscribe to the channel. So important. It helps us keep the content coming. Like the video, share it. We so appreciate your support over the years. Thanks so much for joining us. We so appreciate it. Feel free to email us any questions. And remember, your guitar playing is an evolution. Take care and rock on.